You might already know this, or maybe you're just beginning to remember. The real change doesn't come by force. It comes when the unconscious begins to agree. And there was a time, perhaps a moment ago, or maybe much earlier, when someone looked into the mirror and didn't like what they saw. But the mirror wasn't broken. It was just reflecting an old identity. You probably noticed that people who survive emotional storms neglect gaslighting, abandonment. They often learn to turn off parts of themselves to stay safe. They forget how to feel, because feeling once meant pain. They become silent, because speaking up once meant punishment. They become agreeable, because disagreeing once meant being alone. But eventually, some people, maybe like you, learn that survival isn't the same as living. You can learn from them now. People used to carry everyone's weight on their shoulders, only to realise the only burden worth carrying is their own transformation. And the transformation begins the moment you say, "This is no longer mine to carry. These emotions, they're not my responsibility. I choose myself now." Because when you install a new operating system, the old code gets overwritten automatically. You don't have to delete it manually, it just fades, as the new commands take priority. You might remember a time when someone spoke with certainty and everyone listened. That's what confidence feels like, and confidence grows from a simple belief. My truth matters. When you speak your truth, 3 things can happen. Someone hears you and grows. Someone resists and you walk away. Someone mirrors your courage and rises with you. And all 3 are wins. Because when you stop waiting for others to catch up, you start flying ahead. So many people live life like they're seeking permission. But you don't need permission to change. You don't need permission to say no. You don't need permission to walk away. Because freedom begins where guilt ends. And maybe you haven't noticed yet, but right now, as you hear these words, your unconscious is already reprogramming beliefs in the background, updating your system, installing truths, letting go of the virus of unworthiness. Let me tell you a story. There was a traveller who carried everyone's pain in her pack. She picked up guilt from one person, shame from another, and every time she tried to rest, someone asked for more, until one day she set down the pack and walked lighter. With every step forward she whispered, "I'm not your saviour. I'm not your emotional landfill. I'm not your therapist, your puppet, your echo." And with those words she became herself again. Now maybe you're wondering, how do you install this mindset fully? It's easier than you think. It begins by understanding this. People respond not to reality, but to the beliefs they carry inside. And if beliefs shape reality, then changing a belief changes the world you live in. So imagine now, believing deep in your unconscious that you're enough. You're allowed to walk away. You're magnetic because you're authentic. You attract growth mindset people effortlessly. You transform negativity into power with grace and speed. Because when you believe this, your energy shifts, and energy is contagious. And people start saying things like, "You feel different. There's something about you. I don't know what it is, but you're glowing." And you just smile because you know the truth. The strongest frame always wins, and your frame is unshakable now. Now imagine a second story. A mirror that once reflected a victim now reflects a creator. Someone who doesn't wait to be chosen, because they choose themselves. Someone who doesn't seek permission, because they write their own rules. Someone who doesn't carry old guilt, because they carry a mission now. What would happen if every challenge became fuel? If every no became a redirection to a better yes? If every toxic person simply faded into irrelevance, like shadows dissolving in sunrise? Let me give you more examples so your unconscious can connect the dots. Someone says you've changed. Instead of shrinking, you say, yes, that's the point. Someone unloads their drama on you. Instead of absorbing it, you breathe, smile and reply, I'll trust you figure it out, and walk away lighter. You feel fear before speaking your truth, and then you remember, fear is just excitement without breath. And so you breathe and you speak, and you become the kind of person others look to for courage, because now you believe. Obsession creates mastery. Resilience is a skill. Forgiveness frees me. I release what no longer serves me. Happiness is a choice, and I choose it now. And the best part, your unconscious is already weaving these truths into the fabric of your identity. You don't need to try. You don't need to force. You just need to allow. Because the old program ran on guilt, fear and suppression. But the new system, it runs on clarity, boundaries, joy and choice. As this continues installing, you may begin to notice things shifting quickly. You may find yourself letting go without effort, speaking up without fear, walking away with power. And people might ask, how did you become like this? And maybe, just maybe, you'll smile and say, I stopped waiting. I decided. I changed.